Over and done with. Let's get this meeting over and done with so we can move on to other tasks. I'm relieved that the exam is over and done with. After months of planning and lots of stress, the wedding was finally over and done with. Over and out. The phrase "Roger that," over and out, was his favorite way to end a conversation. When the pilot signed off with "over and out," we knew the transmission was complete. After giving us all the necessary instructions, the boss said, "Over and out," and then we got to work on the solution. Over the counter. You can buy many medicines over the counter without a prescription. The pharmacy has a wide range of over-the-counter remedies for common ailments. Over-the-counter sales have increased since the painkiller became available. Over the course of. Over the course of the summer, they became close friends. She learned to play the piano over the course of a year. The city has changed a lot over the course of the last decade. Over the hill. At 50, he's not over the hill yet. In fact, he's in the prime of his career. Some athletes believe they are over the hill after 30, but she is proving them wrong. You're not over the hill, you're just getting started. Over the moon. She was over the moon when she found out she had passed the exam. They were over the moon about the birth of their first grandchild. Winning the championship left the whole team feeling over the moon. Over the top. His reaction was a bit over the top for such a small mistake. The decorations for the party were over the top, complete with a chocolate fountain and ice sculptures. I appreciate the effort, but don't you think a marching band is over the top for a birthday party? Over the years. Over the years, we've seen significant technological advancements. They have remained friends over the years, despite living in different countries. Over the years, the small town has grown into a bustling city. Prior to the meeting, please ensure all the reports are printed and ready to distribute. She had never experienced any other symptoms prior to her current illness. Prior to the launch of the new product, the team had to complete a series of rigorous tests. Round the clock. The emergency services worked round the clock to help those affected by the flood. Our support team is available round the clock to answer your queries. To meet the deadline, the staff had to work round the clock. Subsequent to Subsequent to the agreement, the two countries expanded their trade relations. He joined the board subsequent to his retirement as the company's CEO. Subsequent to the discovery, new safety measures were implemented. Through the grapevine. I heard through the grapevine that the company might be getting a new CEO. News about the merger of the two leading concerns leaked out through the grapevine before the official announcement. They haven't told anyone yet, but through the grapevine, I've heard they're expecting a baby close to their wedding anniversary. Through thick and thin. They stayed together through thick and thin, celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. Our friendship has lasted through thick and thin, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. The community stuck together through thick and thin, proving their resilience during the crisis. Under consideration. Your proposal is still under consideration by the management team. Several locations are under consideration for the new office. The rules under consideration could change the way we operate fundamentally. Under construction. The new bridge has been under construction for over a year now. Traffic is heavy in the area because the main road is under construction. The website is currently under construction and will be available next month. Under duress. The confession was made under duress, so it may not be admissible in court. The young actress claimed that she had signed the contract under duress and that's why she sought legal help to have it annulled. I felt like I was under duress when making that decision, with everyone watching and waiting. Under false collar URS. The spy entered the organization under false colors, pretending to be a new recruit. They raised funds under false colors, claiming the money was for charity when it was not. Operating under false colors, the con artists duped investors out of millions. Under false pretenses. He was accused of entering the country under false pretenses, as he lied about his reasons for visiting. The salesperson sold us the car under false pretenses, claiming it had never been in an accident. They obtained the investment under false pretenses and were later charged with fraud. Under lock and key. The confidential documents are kept under lock and key in the director's office. To prevent theft, the jewels are always kept under lock and key when not on display. The valuable painting was kept under lock and key until the exhibition opened. Under oath. When you testify under oath, lying can lead to charges of perjury. The witness swore under oath that her testimony was the truth. The general made a promise under oath to serve his country with honor. Under one's belt. With several successful projects under her belt, she's a leading expert in her field. He's got experience and many awards under his belt. After getting some wins under their belt, the team felt more confident. Under one's breath. She muttered a slur under her breath, hoping no one would hear. He cursed under his breath as he realized he didn't have his keys. She said a quick prayer under her breath before stepping onto the stage. Under one's hat. He kept the news of his promotion under his hat until he could tell his family in person. She had some big ideas for the company's future, but she was keeping them under her hat for the time being. The chef kept the secret recipe under his hat, sharing it with no one. Under one's nose. The keys you've been searching for since the morning are right under your nose, on the table. Sometimes the solution to a difficult problem is right under your nose, and you don't even realize it. The thief stole the woman's wallet with some cash, the driver's license and bank cards right from her desk, practically under her nose. Under one's own steam. Despite the setback, he was determined to finish the project under his own steam. A week after the wedding, the newlyweds moved to the new city and found cheap accommodation under their own steam, without anyone's help. The young entrepreneur built his business under his own steam, starting from scratch, which deserves big respect. Under one's skin. The constant clicking of the pen was getting under his skin. Her brother's teasing always seemed to get under her skin. He tried to stay calm, but the criticism was really getting under his skin. Under one's wing. The experienced lawyer took the new intern under his wing. The teacher took her under her wing and guided her throughout the school year. In legal professions, having a mentor to take an assistant under their wing can be a great advantage in their career. Under pressure. The team performed remarkably well under pressure during the final match. She always did her best work under pressure, meeting tight deadlines with ease. When under pressure, he tends to make hasty decisions. Under scrutiny. The company's finances are under scrutiny from the regulators. Her thesis was under scrutiny by a panel of experts who would decide if she could graduate. The policy has come under scrutiny after some complaints. Under someone's thumb. Ever since the new manager came on board, the employees have felt under his thumb. She hates the feeling of being under her mother's thumb and longs for independence she'll have once she starts college in another city. He always does what his brother says, he's really under his thumb. Under the auspices of. The peace talks were held under the auspices of the United Nations. The current modern art exhibition in the Cultural Center was organized under the auspices of the local association. The research project was conducted under the auspices of the leading scientific institute. Under the counter. It's illegal to sell cigarettes and alcohol under the counter to minors. Sometimes rare products can be bought under the counter if you know whom to ask. The worker was offered a substantial sum of money under the counter to reveal confidential information about the company. Under the gun. With the project deadline approaching, the team felt under the gun to deliver the task on time. The politician was under the gun to give a response to the allegations made against him. Working under the gun can sometimes lead to mistakes due to the rush. Under the impression. I was under the impression that the meeting was to be postponed until the next week. She's under the impression that the job is hers, but the decision hasn't been made yet. Many voters are under the impression that the tax changes will benefit them. Under the influence. Driving under the influence of alcohol or other substances is a serious offense. On that day the notorious offender was arrested for being under the influence in a public space again. His girlfriend's behavior in that situation was erratic because she was under the influence of powerful psychotropic medication. Under the knife. My grandmother is going under the knife tomorrow for a hip surgery. Many celebrities go under the knife to maintain their youthful appearance. Even though it was just a small surgery, Tom was nervous about going under the knife for the first time. Under the microscope. After the scandal, the disliked politician's every move was even more under the microscope. The new drug is currently under the microscope in clinical trials. The financial accounts of the charity are under the microscope due to alleged mismanagement. Under the radar. The small tech startup has been operating under the radar but is now gaining significant attention. The negotiator tried to keep his plans concerning the talks with the Ukrainian politicians under the radar to avoid media attention. By staying under the radar, the young entrepreneurs managed to complete their revolutionary project without interference. Under the same roof. Despite their differences, they all lived under the same roof in a state of apparent harmony. The art gallery and library are housed under the same roof for the local community's convenience. After the divorce, they couldn't stand living under the same roof any longer. Under the spotlight. The celebrity's personal life was under the spotlight after the recent scandal. The government's policy on education is now firmly under the spotlight. As the lead in the play, she was under the spotlight and felt the pressure. Under the sun. They discussed every topic under the sun during their long journey. There's nothing new under the sun, as the old saying goes. This market sells everything under the sun, from antiques to fresh produce. Under the table. He was offered money under the table to spy the politician's wife. Paying workers under the table is illegal and unethical. They conducted the entire transaction under the table to avoid taxes. Under the weather. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I'll probably stay in bed. He's been under the weather since he got back from his trip. If you're under the weather, it's best to rest and drink plenty of fluids. Under the wire. They got the application in right under the wire, just before the deadline. The team finished the project under the wire, with no time to spare. The student completed the last exam task just under the wire before the time was out. Under wraps. The company warily kept their new product development under wraps until the launch date. The famous footballer and his beautiful supermodel fiancée managed to keep their wedding plans under wraps from the paparazzi. Details of the deal were kept under wraps until all parties agreed. Up against the wall. With all these deadlines, I really feel up against the wall. The negotiations had them up against the wall, with very few options left. The sudden financial crisis left many investors feeling up against the wall. Up and about. Grandpa has been ill for a while, but now he's up and about again. After the surgery, it took him 2 weeks to be up and about. It's good to see you up and about. The illness didn't slow you down for long. Up and running. The new website is finally up and running after months of development. It took some time, but the old machinery in the sawmill is up and running once again. The IT team need to get this program up and running before the end of the day. Up for grabs. The championship is up for grabs this year, any team could win. There are a few tickets left, and they are up for grabs to the quickest callers. With the company restructuring, his position is now up for grabs.